Okay, so I'm going to start by thinking about what I want the face to look like and the ears, and I'm going to cut out some shapes and kind of mould some shapes that I would like to stick on as well, okay? So I think everyone today maybe could at least add some ears for our tiger and maybe a tail as well. You'll need your knife again just to cut off however much you would like. I might start by the tail, I think that might be a little bit easier. Maybe just have this much. Again, just maybe put the rest back into the wrapper. Cover that over so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm just going to start to roll this one. You can roll it on the paper. Maybe between your hands is a little bit easier to make a kind of coil shape, okay? Okay, so it's a little bit wonky, but I've got my kind of tail shape. I ended up cutting quite a lot off. I think I overjudged how much clay I'd need. I'm gonna try and kind of finish the end of it so that it's rounded to look like the end of the tail, and then I'll just cut that straight at the end, and then again I'm just going to put that to one side for now. Okay, I'm now going to take another piece of clay and I'm going to start to make little ears. Maybe I need some more. And I'm going to try and think about how big I would like them to be on top of my clay pot. So I'd actually like them to kind of join a little bit like this. And I'm just going to make almost like a little triangle shape. Maybe press in a little bit to make it look a little bit curved. So I've made the first ear shape. Again, you can just check the size of it. This one I will have to blend over when I join it in a moment. So I'm just going to try and make an identical one to match on the other side. Okay, so we've made the little ears and the tail ready to join. We're just going to build up we're just going to make one more part that we're going to need to join, which should build up the front of the face a little bit, okay? So take a small ball of clay, and what I'd like you to do with this part is kind of make like a heart shape, okay? So first roll it into a ball. And then once it's fairly smooth, you're going to take one side and just pinch a V shape and then flatten with your thumb and forefinger on the other side. Okay, and then on this side, we're just going to kind of indent a little bit. You can use your hands or you can use your knife if it's not too sharp. So if you can imagine from your drawings last week, this is going to make kind of the mouth and the nose. So we can make this little bit a little bit flatter. Once we've got our heart shape, we can kind of make this point a little bit flatter. Maybe just tap it on your paper, and we can round it off. Okay, and then that bit's ready to join. Okay, so we might change some of these parts as we go along, but we're going to start joining the parts together, okay? So we're going to need our water for that, so hopefully you've got that already prepared. And you'll also need either your knife, again, if it's not too sharp, or you can use a pencil instead. We're gonna do a technique called slip and score. So what that means is that we score a bit of kind of texture on the back of the parts that we want to join. So I'm going to start with the nose, and I'm going to, if you remember from drawing, a kind of like crosshatch on the back, and the position where I want to join that on my pot, I'm also going to do the same kind of texture. And that just should mean that it sticks a little bit more. Once we've done that, we'll dip our hand into our water, and we're just going to add a little bit of water over the surface of the crosshatches, the texture. And what that should do is like kind of almost start to mix with the clay a little bit, making something called clay slip, which is almost like a clay glue. Once we've done that, we can join the two parts together. Okay, and we're going to press, and I'd say press for maybe 10 seconds or so. And with one hand still holding the two pieces together, I'm then going to take a little bit of the clay and kind of smooth it onto the surface of the pot. So we're joining the two parts together. Okay, so I'm going to go around the whole thing. I'll just speed that bit up. So I've joined that bit now. Just now that that's on there, I think I need maybe a little nose up here. So I'm just going to make another small shape and join it onto the nose there as well. Okay, so I've got my my little nose on there now. I'm now going to attach the ears and then finally the tail as well. Okay, and we're going to use exactly the same technique. So we're going to add some texture with our knife or pencil to join each part together to do the score and slip. And obviously we'll put our tail on the opposite side to our nose and ears. Okay, needs a little bit of smoothing out, but I'm going to continue to add the tail. You might have seen during the time lapse that I took away a little bit of the size of the ears, made them a little bit smaller because they were a little bit too out of proportion. So it would be better to do that before you start joining. So the second one I did it before I joined it, but just something maybe to consider before you add yours. I'm now going to add the tail on the back using exactly the same method, the score and slip. Okay, so I've attached this bit with the slip and score technique, but I'm just going to add another little coil around the edge of that to just make it hold a little bit more as well. To do that, I'm just going to take a small amount of clay and again roll it into a coil. And we just need it to be long enough so that it goes around the edge of the tail once. Just going to wrap it around. Oh, not quite long enough yet. So I've just wrapped that around, and all I'm going to do now is just take my knife or my pencil again to just smooth the coil in each direction. Okay, so I've attached that now, and I've made sure that I've joined that really carefully all the way around. Just before I let it sit and dry, I'm just going to try and take a tiny bit of water to just smooth over a couple of the cracks a little bit, and then we're done, and then we'll allow it to dry before we continue and paint it next week. Any leftover clay, I'd really advise that you wrap up tightly. Maybe you put in a pot like this with the lid, no water in it. If you'd like to use the rest of it, it might be a good idea to save some. Well done, everyone.